Welcome to Bits of Wisdom, offering insights on money, Bitcoin, and the world of exponential change. Hello, I'm Paul Rogers, and welcome back to episode 10, our last episode in our series on money, our monetary system, and Bitcoin. We've come a long way, and I hope you've learned a lot and understand some of the problems with our system and why Bitcoin may be a solution. If you do, there's some things that you need to understand as you begin to consider buying Bitcoin. So in this episode, we're going to talk about buying your first Bitcoin, Bitcoin's volatility, a very important thing you need to understand, holding and securing your Bitcoin at a high level, which involves both public and private keys, managing Bitcoin for the long term, and then I'll offer some closing thoughts and hopefully some inspiration. So let's talk about a high-level overview of buying, holding, and managing Bitcoin. Now, my objective in this series has been to educate and inform you about money, our monetary system, and the issues we face, and why Bitcoin has developed as a new technology of money that it could address many of the current and potential pitfalls of the existing system. I'm not here to sell you on it, nor to give you specific recommendations or advice as to how or whether you should buy Bitcoin, and if so, how much. Nor is it my goal to provide you with specific information on the best way to buy or manage it. That said, since it is a new asset class and not readily available through most traditional financial institutions or brokerage firms, I do want to give you some information to consider and ways to get started. Now, I think a lot of this is going to change over the next few years as Bitcoin gets wider and wider adoption, and there will probably be ways to buy it in the traditional system. However, by that time, it'll probably also be more expensive. So let's talk about buying your first Bitcoin. Now, in the 13 years that Bitcoin's been around, the methods of acquiring it and trading it have evolved from peer-to-peer systems to a large number of exchanges where you can buy and sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Some of the largest are Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, and many others. Now, I'm not going to go through the pros and cons of each. Some are simpler for new users, while others are designed for more sophisticated users and traders. Some have higher transaction costs to buy and sell, while some are lower. So let me start by how I got started. Coinbase is one of the largest exchanges and is a publicly traded U.S. firm. They are not, by the way, sponsoring any of this. Their Coinbase app, like most others, can be downloaded on your phone, whether it's an Apple or an Android phone. All right? And they're very user-friendly and easy to set up. And the downside is their fees are a little higher than on some of the others or on their less user-friendly Pro app. But you open an account by providing them the usual account information, go through a verification process, and link a bank account as a funding source. All of this can be done on the phone in minutes. I set my daughter up at the kitchen counter in a few minutes over the Thanksgiving last year. The next step, placing a buy order for Bitcoin. And an instant, by the way, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not limited to stock exchange hours, you can get off of zero and own some Bitcoin. Now, like anything, there are many approaches to accumulating Bitcoin. And as in traditional investing, one of the best and easiest strategies is dollar cost averaging. You buy a set amount on a regular basis. Most exchanges have features to set up this as an automatic process. For example, buying $100 a week or a month, etc. Now, we can't fail to talk about volatility. Bitcoin, as something that's relatively new, is inherently volatile at this point. Now, if you want something that will never go down on a statement, don't buy Bitcoin. You can just keep your money in the bank at 0.05% and lose money surely and slowly to inflation. Now, volatility is not inherently bad. It can be good and it can be bad. I would not view the low volatility of a savings account earning less than inflation good. Volatility is a friend if it's moving in the direction you want it to go. Bitcoin, in the early stages of its adoption, as it still is very volatile and its price swings. okay? And this should be expected. But I hope it's clear from all I've said that my view is Bitcoin is something you hold for the long term. In fact, there's an expression in the Bitcoin world, perhaps coming from a misspelled tweet of hold, H-O-L-D, which came out as H-O-D-L, an ironic acronym for hold on for dear life. My objective in owning Bitcoin is not to trade it. It's not to buy low and sell high. It's to buy lower when you can, and pretty much hold forever. Again, I'm not going to make price predictions. There are plenty of other sources out there for that. But if Bitcoin continues to gain broader acceptance, make its way into more and more traditional portfolios, even at a % or 2 allocation, the demand can drive the price up tremendously. 10 times, 100 times. Remember, somebody like Bill Miller, a traditional portfolio manager, has moved 50% of his personal net worth into Bitcoin. As many traditional asset managers have noted, there is nothing that has the risk-reward profile for exponential reward like Bitcoin, even with a small allocation. This is called asymmetric risk, which means the potential for gain is far greater than the amount that could be lost, even though theoretically you could lose all of it. As mentioned in the previous episode, this is one of the few times that you can get in before the big money does, and it drives the price up. If you want to wait, you can, but chances are that you'll pay a much higher price. If only a fraction of the big institutional or corporate money starts buying Bitcoin, this will have a huge impact. When the trillions of dollars of mutual funds and asset allocation funds and hedge funds and pension funds and sovereign wealth funds start buying Bitcoin and adding even a few % to their allocations, the price action, the volatility is going to be in the right direction for those who already own it. Holding your Bitcoin. Since Bitcoin is a digital technology, holding and storing it are a bit different. There's the old saying that possession is 9/10 of the law. Well, for Bitcoin, it's 100%, just like cash. If it's in your wallet, it's your cash. So we have to touch a bit on the public and private keys that identify ownership of Bitcoin. There's a saying in the world of Bitcoin, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Now, again, I'm not going to go into the depths of cryptography and digital signatures. You can find resources out there on that. But here's a high-level summary. As an encrypted digital asset, there are 2 keys to the asset involved. One is the public key or address where people can find you if you want to send or receive Bitcoin. And the other is the private key, which only you know, that allows you to authorize sending Bitcoin out of the wallet. Like in your bank account, everyone may know from a check your account number, but only if you have the PIN can you send money out of your bank account. So, here's a simple picture of it. Now, you have several options for holding your Bitcoin. You can hold them on the exchange where you bought them, which means that they control your private key. And just like at a bank, if you push a few buttons on your phone, you can send money away. It's convenient, but it has some downsides. The next best thing is that after you buy it, especially larger amounts, you transfer it to your own personal wallet. How do I get a wallet? Well, most exchanges have wallets you can download. So at Coinbase, you have an account there and you can hold it there, in which case they control your private key, or you can self-custody it, transfer it to a wallet, and you are the one who controls it. Now, all of these are called soft wallets or hot wallets because they're connected to the internet in some way, which means there is the potential risk that assets could be hacked or compromised without proper security features. So it's very important to use all the security features of the wallet and the exchange, such as 2-factor authorization. Now, the second method is to store your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency offline in a hard or cold wallet. This can be as simple as a piece of paper with your private key written on it, secured very securely, or a USB-like device that stores the key, and you have a passphrase and other security features to access it. With the USB device, you can plug it in and then transfer or add to it. Now, if you think about it, like gold or cash for that matter, how you hold and secure it is important. If you have lots of it, you probably want it in a vault. The U.S. government does not store its gold at the White House. It's in Fort Knox and in other places. Again, my intent is just to give you a high-level understanding. If you've gotten this far and you've opened an account, you should continue to read and research Bitcoin and how to buy, store, and figure this out in a way that makes the most sense for you. So if you're down the rabbit hole this far with me, you're going to go down your own side tunnels to continue to explore this world. And that's really my objective. Learn, and as they say in Bitcoin world, get off zero, mean at least start buying some. Now, as adoption continues, there will be many more developments and institutional grade offerings for buying, managing, and holding Bitcoin. But for now, since you can't buy it directly at a bank or a brokerage firm, although there are some derivative forms of it, all right, that your broker may be aware of, you'll have to do a little work. Hey, people are doing it all over the world on their phone. You can do it too. So let's talk a little bit about managing Bitcoin. So once you've bought some, set up a dollar cost averaging program to accumulate more, what do you do with it? You hold it. Full stop, period. I never recommended being a stock trader to my clients, and I'm not going to recommend being a cryptocurrency trader to you. If you appreciate Bitcoin as a store of value, then you just store the value. You still have your checking account, your Visa card, your emergency fund, maybe your IRA or 401k with stocks, but your Bitcoin, you store it. Over time, more and more infrastructure will develop, and perhaps one might shift to using it for transactions, as many in the world already do, but you hodl, hold on for dear life. And while it may go down over time, generally see if over year, it doesn't just increase in value. And if you really get it and the price declines, you buy more. And if the value goes up significantly, you do what the big boys do. You don't sell appreciating assets. You can borrow against it for other things you want to buy. Yes, you can borrow against your Bitcoin holdings. So if you end up with a sizable fortune in Bitcoin, you borrow against it. Keep your store of value and your potential for appreciation and use it to buy a house, a car, etc. that way. So, some closing thoughts. We've come a long way on this journey, and I hope you've taken away a better understanding of money, our monetary system, how it's evolved, and the problems we face. And I hope the spark of interest and understanding of the role and potential of Bitcoin has lit a fire for you to continue to feed with more research, exploration, and consideration. My objective was just to get you off square one in your understanding. The world is changing exponentially. The explosion of new technologies will unfold into a world over the next few decades that we can barely imagine. Captain Kirk's transponder from Star Trek, remember his flip phone? It was far-fetched at the time, but now most of the world has a phone in their pocket. Bitcoin is a technology of money that, like all technologies, has the potential to dramatically change the world for the better. Perhaps some of what I shared makes you worried, nervous, or scared, and some of it should. But I firmly believe that Americans and the world have the potential to use and harness new technologies to make the world a better, fairer, more abundant, and loving place for us all. I'll leave you with a few statements about Bitcoin from some major thought leaders. In 1999, economist Milton Friedman, a Nobel Prize winner, stated, "I think the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing, but that will soon be developed, is a reliable e-cash." 9 years later, Bitcoin was born. And in a context like this of a statement from Alan Greenspan, the former chair of the Federal Reserve, we can see why that's so important. He said, "The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print the money to do that." And we see exactly that's what's happening. So now we have this new technology of money, what Bill Gates called a techno tour de force. What Eric Schmidt, the former Google CEO, said, Bitcoin is a remarkable cryptographic achievement, and the ability to create something that is not duplicable in the digital world has enormous value. Peter Diamandis, a great thought leader and founder of the X Prizes, spurring new technologies in a wide range of industries, including space, said, at its core, Bitcoin is a smart currency designed by very forward-thinking engineers. It eliminates the need for banks, gets rid of credit card fees, currency exchange fees, money transfer fees, and reduces the need for lawyers and transitions. All good things. Peter Thiel, a co-founder of PayPal, said, I do think Bitcoin is the first encrypted money that has the potential to do something like change the world. There's a saying among Bitcoiners, fix the money, fix the world. So let's start fixing the world. Thanks for joining on this journey. And well, I haven't said it too many other times in this series, but if you liked it, please hit the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned on future videos. Again, I'm Paul Rogers. This is Bits of Wisdom. I appreciate you joining me on this journey, and I look forward to having you on other journeys with me and for you starting your own journey into the world of Bitcoin. Thanks.